We shall discuss the short story The Executor by Muriel Spark. Muriel Spark, Muriel. Muriel Spark was a Scottish novelist, short story writer, poet, and essayist. In 2008, The Times referred to her or ranked her as number 8 among the 50 great British writers since 1945. So she was ranked number 8 in the 50 greatest British writers since 1945. So let us see the gist, short summary of this particular work. In Sparks the Executor, what we see is that a woman named Susan becomes the assistant and later the executor of her uncle's literary estate. Like all his writings was given to her and she was directed to give it to the foundation, a particular foundation. Now, she sells all the correspondence and manuscripts. Correspondence means all the letters and manuscripts to a foundation, but she holds by one particular unfinished novel. Okay, her full name was Susan Kyle, Kyle. The book, that particular novel, was a very strong and cruel one about a witch who was slowly trapped and who was forced to face the execution. So one single climatic chapter was missing, which she thought she would write herself and raise money by selling the manuscript. At that point, Susan begins to get a note which seems to be like the note sent by her uncle's ghost. So that particular ghost seems to be an omniscient one who sees everything what she is doing. So traditionally, a moralizing ghost can be a terrible one, but here the ghost vigilance, the ghost is always watching her and commenting on her, is quite annoying rather than horrifying. So she prays to God to show her some way how this particular witch, Mrs. Thatcher, would have reacted or would have conducted herself in the circumstances that is there in the 10 chapters before of the novel. Whatever was the circumstances that she had to face, how she would conduct herself, how she would face, she asked God for his assistance to make her understand. In the end, what happens is that the foundation calls her and asks her about the missing work. Why? Because the work was mentioned in one of his letters and they found it missing. Thus, the nieces planned to write down or complete the manuscript and sell it became a failure. But her uncle also failed in executing the how much cruelty was needed in that work till the end. Her uncle also failed in doing that. So her uncle's notes constantly used to laugh at her, constantly used to mock her for not being able to complete. Now she says she denies the ghost the glory for whatever he like for this the glory for his moral cow. Now there we see an obsession with a disappeared possibility. When a particular thing is missing, so far the novel is written, the last chapter is missing. Now it is quite a disappeared possibility. Like you can think many ways as to a novel can end. To find the best way and to write it and to make it a success is challenging. Her uncle's letters told her that he knows exactly what she was doing and what she was thinking. This persecution continued till the foundation called her and asked her about the unfinished novel. When Susan hands over this manuscript, she gets a final message from one of her uncle's notebook. Goodbye, Susan. It's lovely being a speck in the distance, being a tiny spot from the distance, from eternity. In Susan's uncle, we find an omniscient ghost, a ghost that knows everything, that knows everything. The gap between her perception of herself and how the characters perceive her is made clear to the reader. As far as literature is concerned, she was not interested in completing it just for the sake of literature, but she was greedy and she was looking for money. Her uncle also was well aware of the limitations that she had. The irony is that the reader also joins in laughing at her, because her greedy aspect of completing it and selling it and earning money is uh, has failed. So the reader is also not feeling sympathy towards her. And her uncle in one of the notes refers to her as greedy little snoot. Refers to her. Snoot means one who has contempt for low class people. Her affair with Jamie was also noted by the uncle in one of the notes. Who Jamie was the hired help's son. The hired help's name was Mrs. Donaldson. Her son Jamie, she had an affair with him. Even that is laughed at in the letters sent by her uncle. She wonders how this is possible and how comes this note is there. At first she thinks that it is some trick, but then later she understands that it is her uncle's own handwriting. We also don't feel sympathy for her when we read it. In none of Spark's work, there is the element of sympathy. There is something autobiographic about this work. Like we know that Muriel Spark also left all her manuscripts, all her literary materials, her manuscripts and her diaries to a Scottish university at her death. So there also arises this debate of using personal details or personal autobiographical elements in a work. Some readers will read it out of curiosity to know what happened in that person's life. Others may despise it. The messages was given by Uncle was not only about the novel but also about her personal life. That was clearly a nuisance for her. All his property was distributed among the family members, but this particular, his library, his literary materials and his library was given to Susan as the sole executor. He should be the one who execute it and hands over it to the foundation. Actually, in the story that the uncle had written, it was about a witch, I told you. So that particular witch named Edith was condemned to be burned, but because of her own willpower, she dies before the execution. That is the story. But the final chapter was missing. So this was noted by the foundation and they asked it was supposed to be like this and this particular work is missing. And why they considered it very important is because that was uncle's most metaphysical work. Metaphysical means beyond physical, something that is beyond our perception. Now the work was also based on true history, so that's why the foundation was very much interested in getting it. She actually Susan Kyle was working in Edinburgh in a government office, and she had left that job to come and take care of her uncle. And later on, when uncle died, she was made as the executor of selling all these things and to give it to the foundation. And because she thought of completing that work and sell it to earn money, but then the attempt got failed because of the constant nagging by the ghost of her uncle, and also by the call from the foundation to hand it over to them. So I hope you understood about this work. Not much details are given in internet also. So whatever I got it, I collected it together and framed together as this video. So if you find this video useful and if you find my educational videos useful, then please do subscribe the channel, okay, so that it will reach to maximum people. Okay, thank you so much.